You know, it was 8 years ago that a young, untested, inexperienced, and virtually unknown freshman senator made great speeches about hope and change. But 8 years later, our debt's more than doubled. America's leadership in the world has completely evaporated, and the country is more polarized than ever in my lifetime. We were promised hope, but it was just talk. And now we need the kind of change that really could get America from hope to higher ground.
All right, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday he announced that he's running once again for President of the United States for the Republican nomination, of course. And today he is with us, Governor Mike Huckabee, former governor of Arkansas and author of God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy, by the way. Hello, Governor.
Steve, great to be back with you. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, it's always my pleasure. I know you've had a busy day. I appreciate you taking the time, and you're back in that great state of Iowa, are you not?
I am in Iowa today. We'll be here tomorrow and then on to South Carolina. So I doubt it's a big surprise to anybody that I'm going to be spending a lot of time in states like Iowa and South Carolina over the next several months.
All right, well, you know, just to get this out of the way, we had a Quinnipiac poll today. I don't know if that probably did not take into account the fact that you announced, so the results are probably not indicative of that. But Scott Walker in front of the pack with 21%, and you you won Iowa in 08. I don't have to tell you that. Are at 11% in a crowded field. Does that concern you at all? What do you think of the results of this poll?
No, it doesn't concern me. I mean, the fact is, I think a lot of people, until yesterday, were not even confident that I was going to run. I've said I've left a lot of crumbs along the trail that any bird should have been able to pick up, but a lot of people just couldn't see it, never saw it. And I think we're still surprised right up until yesterday morning when I took to the podium and said, I am running for president. So I think you're going to see some changes in the polls, but the most important poll right now is the poll of likability and favorability. And we're at the top of every one of those that have been taken. And at this point, that's what really matters to us, because what we've got to build on is people's trust. People have to believe that I would be a good president, that I would lead this country. And that's what we're going to be setting out to do over the next several months.
I think you're great. You know that. We've talked many times over the years. What if you could give people one reason to vote for Mike Huckabee as opposed to, you know, so far there's a crowded field and the field's going to get even more crowded. What is the main reason you would tell them if people said, okay, I know you, I know some of the others, or I don't really know you. Give me one reason why I should vote for Mike Huckabee.
Well, let me be fair and say there are a lot of good candidates that are going to be running on the Republican side. And my goal is not going to be to see if I can make them look bad. I look at it, we're all running to be quarterback of the team, and I want to be quarterback because I play a better game, not because I was able to disable and break the legs of the other people. I think what uniquely qualifies me not only to win the election but to govern effectively is that I did govern effectively and successfully over a long period of time. I ran a state. I truly understand how to lead, and I did it in the most hostile environment that anybody has faced in the country in a long time. A legislative makeup that was the most democratic, lopsided in all of America, more than Massachusetts, Maine, or Vermont, Oregon, California, any place. And I think that being able to govern in that kind of environment is the sort of experience and background that is needed to try to bring some common sense solutions to Washington and get people to move together for the benefit of the country rather than just to go and have a stalemate over political challenges and ideologies.
I think in 08, I believed that 08 was the most important election of our time because, like you, I knew and was willing to say so many things about Barack Obama. And then I thought, of course, after the 4 miserable years, that 2012 was absolutely the most important presidential election of my lifetime, and maybe that this country has had in maybe 100 years. And of course, we saw how that went. But Governor, I don't know. Am I wrong in once again thinking, I have a 15-year-old son, that this is even more important than the previous two based on the results of the previous two?
Steve, I think you're absolutely right. This is the most important election, and they have grown in their importance. But we're facing some things today that we didn't face 4 years ago, and certainly not 8 years ago. We're facing genuine threats to our national security, not just that are happening in the Middle East, but that are now happening on our own soil. When radical Islamists are killing Americans, or they're attempting to kill Americans in our cities, on our homeland, this ought to be of grave concern to us. When our economy is tanking, and when I hear people talk about how the economy is in such a state of recovery and the president boasts about his great economic plans and how effective they are, I'm in Iowa today, and I just toured a plant in Oskaloosa, Iowa, that they make fire hydrants. There's 400 people who work here. And I bet if you ask them, is their economy in recovery, they'd probably say, well, we're working hard, we're making a decent living, but I'd hardly say, that the economy for us is in a great state of recovery. And that's the fact for so many American workers. And for many, it's not just that they're holding their own. They're really losing ground and losing it fast.
All right, two things I want to get to. One is when you hear Bill O'Reilly take to task the organizers of the event in Garland, when you hear Greta say shame on the event organizers because they put police lives at risk because they knew there might be trouble and it wasn't fair to have cops show up and put their lives at risk, is it the world turned upside down to you?
Well, it is to me, and I love both those folks. They're former colleagues at Fox when I was there, and I think the world of both of them. I understand why they would come to that conclusion, but I disagree with it because you do not blame the victim of a crime for the crime committed by a murdering criminal. And free speech is a precious right in this country. If we start saying, well, you can say some things, but not if it offends certain people. I'm a Christian, Steve. I get offended every day by things people say about me and my faith. I don't want to murder anybody over it. I don't go and take an automatic weapon or a semi-automatic weapon or even a single-shot BB gun and go shoot somebody because somebody said something unkind about me. I don't blame organizers of a free speech event for the fact that some radical Islamic savages decided to go and just mow down a bunch of people. I find that just bizarre.
Yeah, okay. And one more. You know the Clintons probably as well as anybody. If Hillary's the nominee, and she probably will be, is that a feather in your cap? Is that an advantage that you would have over any other Republican nominee?
Well, it absolutely is. People forget that when I ran in Arkansas, I ran against the Clinton political machine. Some of the Democrats have tried to push back on that, but here's the fact. The Democratic Party apparatus in Arkansas that I ran against in every election was created by the Clinton operation. And then Bill Clinton really had his thumb on Arkansas government. As a 12-year governor of the state, he appointed every member of every board, agency, and commission. He was responsible in his administration for hiring all the people in 353 boards, agencies, and commissions. And if you don't think I inherited an incredibly challenging environment, walking into a situation that was totally dominated by people who did not like me, and to have the Clintons come back and personally campaign for pretty much every opponent I ever had, no, I think I understand better how they play ball and, most importantly, how to beat that political machine because I'm the only one with experience of having repeatedly done it.
Are they dishonest people?
I'll leave that to someone else to determine. I'll say this, that there will always be plenty of interesting things that they will say and do, and most probably significantly is in an electoral environment, they're going to play to win, and they're the best and probably maybe the creators of the rapid response. So if someone says something, they're going to be back in the field faster than you can get out of your mouth with a counterpunch, and it's going to be brutal. So people have to be prepared. This is not going to be a sweet, pleasant, polite, sit at the table, have a nice chat over tea.
Governor, I hope you will come back and have a nice chat over tea with me in the future as this your campaign progresses, and thank you so much, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Steve. Good to talk to you.
You too. Mike Huckabee, ladies and gentlemen. Cartoonist Ted Rall is next. Don't go away.